First, I would like to introduce to you Dr. Sally Goza. Dr. Goza is a general pediatrician, and she's had the privilege of taking care of children for over 30 years. She's a managing partner in First Georgia Physicians Group. After graduating from Rhodes College, she attended Medical College of Georgia for her medical degree, and her internship and residency were at Cincinnati Children's Hospital. Her involvement with the AAP Georgia chapter includes serving on the board of directors, Medicaid task force, and as chapter president. She currently is on the legislative committee, fall planning group, and the Pediatric Foundation of Georgia Board. Dr. Goza served on the National Nominating Committee and the board of directors, and she was chair of our 4 Our Futures campaign. Dr. Goza is active in her community, having served on boards for Girl Scouts, domestic violence prevention, and the School for Children with Special Needs. Would you please help me give a warm welcome to Dr. Sally Goza.
Good morning, everyone. I have never been more proud of being a member of the American Academy of Pediatrics than I am today. Each and every one of you, everyone in this room, makes a difference every day in the lives of children. Together, we make a difference in addressing issues such as the Affordable Care Act, CHIP, the environment, and the separation of children from their families at our southern borders. Pediatricians, pediatric subspecialists, and surgical specialists are truly a force to be reckoned with when they speak and tweet with one voice. We have the facts and the stories to tell that make a difference. As American Academy of Pediatrics president, I would be proud to stand tall, or as tall as I can at 5 feet, and be persistent in telling the stories and sharing the facts to advocate alongside each and every one of you for what is right for children and for what is right for our profession. For over 30 years, I've been in primary care pediatrics, both as an employed physician and a partner owner. I still wake up every day and love what I do, taking care of children and their families. It is truly a calling to have the privilege to care for the world's most valuable resource, our children. My journey with the American Academy of Pediatrics began quite serendipitously at the Georgia chapter level. I was rounding one day at the hospital and a colleague came up to me and said, "I voted for you today." And I'm sure I looked a little bit scared and like a deer in the headlights going, "Oh, that's great, but for what?" And they said to be on the board for the Georgia AAP. And I said thank you again and found out later that my partner had put my name on the ballot. I am forever grateful that someone believed in my leadership skills and mentored and encouraged me to get involved. It has been a wonderful journey. With our agenda for children, strategic plan, and the blueprint for children, we have the roadmap we need to continue our work advocating for children and pediatric providers. My experience in my community, in my practice, within the American Academy of Pediatrics at both the chapter and national level, and especially on the board of directors and executive committee, have honed my skills and fueled my passion to make me uniquely qualified to be the next president-elect of the American Academy of Pediatrics. I understand where we have been, I understand where we are, and I have a vision of where we need to go. On this campaign journey, I've heard from members about what keeps them up at night. I am committed to represent each and every one of you as we move the needle on issues ranging from the opioid crisis, obesity, bias and discrimination, and poverty, to changes within the practice of medicine, physician wellness, and diversity and inclusion. And on that topic, I love to tell the story of my partner calling me. He was covering for me, and he says, "I went into this room, and this little boy looked at me like I was kind of strange." And he said, as I was leaving the room after doing what I needed to do, I heard him admonishing his mother going, "Mama, you never told me boys could be doctors too." As my friends will tell you, I've always been known as a cross between an Energizer bunny and a dog with a bone. And I promise to bring that abundant energy and fierce persistence to our work at the Academy and especially our advocacy. We must continue to shine the spotlight on the issues that affect our children. We cannot let other crises overshadow the plight of our children in need. My favorite advocacy button says, "The children sent me," and I truly believe that the children are counting on each and every one of us. Tent cities filled with children separated from their families should never happen in this country that was built by immigrants. The risk of deportation for using programs for your children to have food and health care is a stress no parent should be forced to endure. Mass shootings and accidental shootings need to be for the history books and not a daily occurrence. Bias and discrimination that is so openly expressed in today's society needs to be called out and addressed. A colleague once told me that he could predict if a child would succeed by looking at the zip code they were born into. As president of the American Academy of Pediatrics, I will be passionate about making sure that this is not a valid assessment of a child's potential. We must be persistent in helping society realize that all children, no matter their differences, are our future, and we must nurture and protect them. Each and every one of us can be the heroes that children are counting on. For the American Academy of Pediatrics to be effective in child advocacy, we must also look inwardly and advocate for our pediatricians, our pediatric specialists, and surgical specialists so they can remain healthy both personally and professionally. Supporting our members in all the different practice options available today is critical. We really must meet our pediatricians where they are, our members. As president, I would push to have the AAP be proactive and nimble and be leading in the innovations and changes in technology, payment, and practice that affect all of us. We must promote pediatric providers and their teams as the best providers of care for children. As our children today are more complex both medically and socially, it is imperative to get acknowledgement that the pediatric medical home and neighborhood is critical to their lifelong well-being. I believe that children are our greatest resource and our future. As president, I will be committed to do everything I can to make sure children are valued and protected in this country and around the world. My vision for our AAP is that through our core strengths, policy, education, and advocacy, that we can lead the charge to keep children safe, healthy, and happy, and to help all pediatric providers thrive both personally and professionally and remember their calling. Together, we can fuel the American Academy of Pediatrics to remain a thriving, relevant organization that embodies the true trifecta of what we are all about: children, pediatric providers, and our organization. So now I'd like for everybody just to stop. We're here in Orlando, the world of imagination, and I want everybody just to stop for a minute and imagine. Imagine a world where children are prioritized and valued, and whenever a decision is to be made at the local, state, or federal level, that those making the decision would stop for just a minute and ask, how will this affect our children? And look to us, all of the pediatric providers and our AAP for that answer. We can do this. We are over 67,000 strong. We have the ability to make children the North Star in our world. I am excited, I am willing, and I am committed to serve the American Academy of Pediatrics, the children, and each and every one of you. Thank you.